I just thought I'd have a quick update as to how I'm thinking about this hostage rescue idea. I do think that it's a really obvious one: guide, opponent restricted, that sort of thing, right? So the first thing that I want to make sure is that the time and effort that I'm putting in relates to projects that I'm already doing. So I'm making Serial Link, which had soldiers. I'd like a squad or tactical element to it, and at the moment it's very, very basic. They have a squad actor that's got 2 fire team actors in it. The squad actor can take a leader and 2 fire teams. Each fire team takes 4 guys, and at the moment all they do is they shout man down. So when they shout man down and they call for backup. That's all they do, and all that is a simple. If I die, I just reach up to my fire team, cycle through the guys, find one that's alive, and get him to bark the thing, as if he'd seen it, even if he didn't see it. I think I've improved it a little bit, so that only people whose vision I was just in could be chosen to shout, right? But that's too far for this. And then the other thing they do is when they take fire, they say something, and then if they reach the end of the thing that they're saying, then other team members will come because you took too long to kill them, right? So that's all that they do. So they just pass their location and say to the AI system and say, hey, come here. Well, what I'd like to do, one, I'd like to learn EQS. So what I'm thinking about now is perfect for that. So I've got a mind map for this. So on there is be transparent about Serial Link and the evidence of the position that I'm in at the minute, but I'm comfortable that it builds upon Serial Link. So the idea that I've got is to build a AI system, a tactical AI system that is independent of the player and can choose how to get into and attack a building, right? So get into a building, kill the guys in it, and traverse the building as they should. So that leads me to a couple of things, which is EQS would be perfect for this because you could get proper data back about your environment. So, which I've never done. So I know about it, but I've never done it. So that was a good opportunity there. I am aware of and have done a very, very basic implementation of a smart room. It was for my coursework on the degree last year, but I never finished it. Or had it do anything really, because it would use the pawn sensing component, which was being deprecated anyway. So my idea is to have a smart building made of smart rooms, which are blueprint actors that can communicate with whatever's inside it. So once you have an overlap and a soldier walks into it, immediately we have references between the soldier, his squad, the room itself. I could put markers around the room that get turned from false to true when a soldier observes them. That would facilitate room clearance. And of course, if they come across anything, then a fight can happen there. So that can happen. That takes care of the fighting side of it. The next most important thing would be the doorways. I can't remember exactly what I read. It was a long time ago when I was looking at this. I've got some graphics up here of tactical things that I've been looking at for Serial Link, but this is the sort of thing I'm thinking about. They call it like the funnel of death, or it's some groovy name for the doorway, because it's the most dangerous part. So we can easily make that a blueprint actor of its own that can interact with 2 rooms or 2 spaces, right? So we could have a room, the blueprint actor for the doorway, which would be the funnel of death or whatever. We could define that, and then the next area. So all of these things would be able to communicate with everything else. I've drunk a lot of coffee. So none of those things are realised at all in Serial Link. There's no smart room, there's no hostages, there's no decisions really going on by the AI apart from respond to the stuff that's right in front of you. The only concern that I've got is interactivity and the fact that without it, it's not really a game. It's more a simulation or a demonstration of AI. Now, for the purpose of the jam, I think that's okay, because I've got a couple of ideas of how that could be used. It'd be very easy to take the AI's decision making out of it and then, Rainbow Six style, bust in there, go cover that area. A contextual command system, which is easy enough to sort out. In addition to that, I did think of having an orbiting camera, a camera that's got a small role. Call it an orbiting camera because it wouldn't just be focused on the guy, but some camera that can only stray so far from the team leader. So the team leader's making some decisions. So you're not. I don't want to directly control the guy pulling the trigger. That to me is a bit too close to serial link. I want to do something different. So I want the AI to decide as much as possible. But if I had to shoehorn in interactivity and make it a game, that's one of the mechanisms that I thought about. I think considering the time restraint, we're 39 minutes in at the minute, I think that just getting the AI to talk to a smart building and traverse that building in some sensible way, I think I would be happy if that was my prototype and there was even no fighting involved. If it was just that environment recognition, some kind of decision based on that information and an action, and I'm going to go in there or I'm going to blow that door in or whatever, I'd be really happy with that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. On a side note, I do like a good nerd chart. So I have printed out the 48 hours that I've got, and each of the smaller squares is 15 minutes. So I like to have a visual representation of what's going on, because that is my other one, and that is each one of those 15-minute blocks represents the masters, serial link, learning C++, managing Sofa Ninja, my studio. It was weird to say it like that. Watching related tutorials and reading, and typing. But you can see by the differences in the each square is worth 15 minutes. So you can see that the MA gets much more of my time. It's a nice way to visualize the relationship between time and where you want to spend it. So that's it for now. Just thought I'd update you on how I'm thinking. Bye.